They were a group of outcasts and misfits who became superstars. Profane and powerful, ICD-10 rescued rock and roll with a unique sound built by Life on the Edge. Before their HCSC careers, ICD-10 sold millions of records. In the heyday of 1980s rock and roll, frontman Luke Haines and ICD-10 were a stadium-packing sensation. From 84 through 89, they became the first band in history to release 5 triple platinum albums in a row.
It was unbelievable.
I just saw the biggest rock and roll band in the world. They're going to sell more records than any band except for maybe Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones.
On this episode of VH1 Behind the Music, the rise, fall, and resurrection of ICD-10. Gracing the cover of magazines and making multiple TV appearances, lead singer Luke Haines led ICD-10 to worldwide fame. But keeping a band of personalities like this together would prove to be a difficult task for Haines. The band's sordid tale begins in the 70s, in Denver, Colorado, where Luke Haines was born, dreaming about life in the fast lane. The world should have known Luke Haines would be a rock star just by looking at the hand gestures he would make while taking baby photos. Although these gestures, they weren't the only clue that he would be a rebel. Luke made a lot of terrible decisions at a young age. Like wearing this lime green suit. He began keeping a messy bedroom. He started drinking juice boxes by the dozens. These were difficult times for the young rock star. Luke developed a severe gambling habit, sneaking out at night, riding his big wheel to the local gambling establishment where he would lose his lunch money. Guitarist and backup singer Brenda Dillman was born in Van Buren, Arkansas with a rare condition. She was born with rock and roll tattoos. Her parents worked with doctors and insurance companies only to find the procedure to remove them wasn't considered medically necessary. From that moment on, Brenda knew that she wanted a career in health insurance, but first, she must pursue her passion for music. Brenda knew she had the skills, but also knew she needed to perfect her rock and roll look. So she tried short hair, she tried long hair, she tried whatever these are, until she finally found her look. From there, she went on to win Ed McMahon's Star Search, and then later joined ICD-10. Brenda once told Rolling Stone magazine her crowning achievement was being voted People magazine's top 5 best hair in music in 1988. Childhood wasn't always golden for drummer Chris Williams either. Known to his adoring fans as CW, every year for his birthday, CW would wish for a drum set, but it wouldn't come. He knew that he had to take matters into his own hands. Chris took up karate classes, where he would use his skills to karate chop down small trees in order to make his own drumsticks. And every year, at Easter, he would gather his Easter eggs and try to sell them to strangers, and he would perform sweet bicycle tricks to passersby, looking for donations, until finally, he purchased that drum set on his own, and rock and roll fans around the world are forever grateful. These days, fans can find CW on SWAT calls, lounging by the pool, or hanging out at award ceremonies with his cousin, Lenny Kravitz. Born in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, rock legend Nigel Sommer despised the cold Midwest. In particular, the sound of fall leaves crunching under his feet really angered him. Young Nigel would often be seen wearing a bucket on his head to drown out the sound of anything that wasn't music. But when the bucket no longer worked, Nigel quickly resorted to firearms, attempting to destroy any sound that he heard that wasn't music. Mr. and Mrs. Sommer discovered that young Nigel only found happiness with 2 things: the sound of music and the sound of a comb running through his hair. Nigel would go on to be a 2-time Wallet Chain of the Year award winner and is a 3-time Midwestern champion in tight rolling jeans. Legend has it that while on spring break in Cabo, Van Halen's lead singer Sammy Hagar once entered himself into a Sammy Hagar lookalike contest and took second place to Nigel Sommer. Kim Tucker has an award shelf even larger than Nigel's. Born in Malibu, California, right next door to Barbie's dream house, Kim Kardashian Tucker loved keeping claims on hold volume to a minimum almost as much as she loved having her photo taken. Kim was a national baton twirling champion who turned to the world of modeling. After several successful ad campaigns, she began to get bored. The pressures of modeling became too much, and Kim lashed out. She began wearing oversized sweatshirts, and she set her sights on being a rock star. From an early age, Danville, Illinois native Scotty P could be found playing Elton John music or dressing like him. But it wasn't long until he heard the sounds of rock and roll, and life changed forever. The future ICD-10 guitarist fell in love with fast cars and fast music. Scotty P had rock and roll in his veins, so much so that he began dressing like AC/DC guitarist Angus Young. Scotty P spent his teenage years finding the appropriate leather and perfecting his mullet before one day meeting his bandmates and creating rock and roll history. Live on camera during the 1990 Grammy Awards, the band had a sour breakup centered around whether they should select the PPO plan or the high-deductible health plan at the next open enrollment period. Years have passed now, and egos have been put aside, and the band is back, and better than ever. This year only, Large Group SWAT Productions presents ICD-10 Production Ready Tour. Get your tickets now.